Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Penny Lane Podcast with Nut Butter Falcon. We became such good friends in this interview. We've been trading together, and I really want to thank him for changing my trading and keeping me accountable and being a good friend. So, thank you, Peanut. This episode is brought to you by Pennies Going in Raw and Last Bottle Wines.
The stock market is hotter than ever right now, and traders are taking advantage. But what does that mean for the people who still haven't started trading? The market can be a little intimidating at first, but you don't have to be alone in the learning experience. We at the Pennies Going in Raw podcast are here to help you. I'm Dan, and with my co-host Hugh Henney, we make the stock market a fun but informative experience for our listeners. We offer knowledge for all levels of traders, from beginners to those who do it full time. On PGIR, we discuss up-to-date news about the stock market and interview other traders who all started out just like us and made it big. You'll hear from Hugh and other multi-millionaire traders, founders and CEOs of companies, FinTwit superstars, and even professional athletes. Have you ever thought about investing your hard-earned cash but don't know where to start? Do you have money just sitting in your savings account collecting dust? We were all there once too. Listen to Pennies Going in Raw on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi. Well,
Hey.
actually, let me just ask you, what do you want me to call you Nut Butter on the podcast?
No, you can call me Chris. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, Chris, hi.
Hey, how you
Welcome to the Penny Lane Podcast.
doing? Thank you.
I feel like we have been sort of flirting around having you on the podcast. Like we've kind of known each other for a while now, right?
Yeah. I like to, shed some support where it's needed, and I try to stay out of the Twitter stuff as much as possible. But my trading journey has been far from easy. So when I see people struggling, I like to, lend some support.
Yeah, and you've got great vibes, and I appreciate the support. And honestly, usually people have to wait, have to wait, but usually we book out like a month or 6 weeks. We've got the whole schedule filled, but somebody canceled tonight. We were able to get you in same day.
I was very intrigued by that, actually. It was this is happening really fast.
Real fast.
Okay.
And usually, we're a month or 6 weeks, right? Right, Ellis? Hello, Ellis. Welcome to the Penny Lane Podcast.
Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. I was waiting for the
introduction. This is Ellis. He's new to the podcast.
I like it.
Yeah. I just help out and tell funny jokes and ask questions when Penny's tired sometimes.
And sometimes I am tired. Luckily, it's President's Day, and I have spent my day listening to Real Simple Ariel, so I actually am not out of talking. I'm an introvert, and so I like to say that I only have so many words a day. And when I'm out of my words, I'm out of my words. But I'm not out of my words tonight.
Not
You
at
don't
all.
strike me as an introvert, though, at all.
Interesting. There's a screen element to, behind the screen, I'm okay, but in person, I'm weird.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think everyone's weird in person. What do you mean? It's 2022.
Are you
I
guys
haven't seen
coming
people in
to
3
our
years.
New York meetup?
I grew up in New York. I haven't
I'll
been
be
back
there.
to New
You
York
want me
in
to
a
come?
long
I'll be
time.
there.
I might go back. Yeah.
Cool. We're having a March 17th trader meetup. So people, is it the 19th? March
19th.
Okay. Thank you.
I just booked the hotel. What do you mean?
So everyone's about to find out real quick how awkward I am IRL. I know, I can't
You're gonna
wait.
see what I look
no
like, though.
preview. You're not going to give me a preview.
No preview. No, I'm just going to call you when I'm at the function and be like,
and
yo,
then
I'm
I'll
out front.
just know by your voice.
It's pretty obvious. If you saw me in person, I'm a tall white dude
And you
with glasses.
said you looked like the guy from OBR. So I've got to...
Yeah, because he looks just like me. He's
Okay.
a tall, lanky
All
white dude
right,
like me. You know,
Well, Chris.
Yes.
Hi. Honestly, I don't really have any agenda for this episode. I mean, you have had an amazing comeback recently, right?
Yes.
That we can discuss, or we could just discuss general market struggles, or I'm kind of open. I think you've got, okay, all right.
I have questions. All right, so I always like to ask people, like, my favorite questions, like, how'd you start trading? But, like, what's your story? Like, you told me before in the pre-show that, you kind of started, so you're in your 30s, so you've probably been around the markets for a while, I'm assuming,
man,
or is this all sort of new? Or did you go to school for, like, fine arts or something
fancy.
crazy?
I'm just a mechanic. I fix cars,
Fantastic.
Regular old job.
Awesome.
I got into the markets August 2020, and I mean, I'll get into it, but I really don't think I got like into the markets until I joined MTA. I was like finding just a lot of tickers on Twitter and swinging them, and that swing market was super hot. So I got like really overconfident because I'd make like 100% moves in a week or two, and I'm like, this shit is easy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know
Everyone
why
should do it.
everybody doesn't just do this. So yeah, I didn't do any research or anything, and then eventually I got into like doing DD on small cap biotech names and that type of stuff. Not realizing that it was like just the market sentiment at the time that was making these plays work out so well. I thought it was like, I'm finding the best tickers. There's no way this isn't me.
Give me
everything,
Moderna, right?
Man.
Like those kind of thoughts.
So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then I got into MTA and started trying to do some momentum stuff. Was very fortunate to meet my good friend James LaFaith, and my good friend Jess in those rooms. And I quickly learned that I was doing everything wrong. Very quickly. I was like trying to momentum trade using thinkorswim.com. I didn't even know TD had like a desktop thing.
Wow.
So I like reached out to James. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm like 10 steps behind everything you're doing. Like I'm clicking buy and you're saying you're scaling out of your position, and I'm like getting railed every day. Exactly what was happening. So I had a lot to learn. What was that?
How'd you find MTA?
Dude,
How'd
I don't even know.
MTA? What was...
It had to have been Twitter, but I don't know like how it came about or how I ended up there. I always try to think back to it, and I really can't like remember a distinct reason I joined it. I think I was just like over Atlas because I was like one of those people that didn't know how to trade and lost money on their plays, which like I don't blame them for. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking for something new, and it just happened to fall in place.
Maybe you followed like Brad on Twitter or something like that.
Whoever I was following shared it, and I was like, oh, I'll just join this Discord now. And it turned out to be like the greatest thing ever. So,
I mean, maybe it was me.
Maybe.
So you started with small caps,
I started with small caps and swing trading, and then I realized quickly that I wasn't great at momentum trading, even once I figured out that TD has a desktop platform.
Tell me that experience when you first opened it up. You were like,
dude,
holy
I was blown away.
Like,
I was like, this all makes sense now. I'd like see people posting charts and stuff, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's TD, but that does not look like this website at all. So, it was eye-opening. It was mind-blowing. Yeah, it was.
So wait, how were you like using TD.com? Like, were you just like opening up Safari on your phone, or like just go to TD.com?
So at work,
like,
I have a laptop on my toolbox for service information and that type of stuff, and so I would just like have it open in another window, and I'd be on like MTA voice with myself on mute, and I'd be like listening to people taking these plays, and I'd just be like pulling it up like buy market, and like getting fucking railed.
That's a way to get railed.
Yeah, like no stop loss, just like buy market, and then the price is like instantly going down because I'm like 15 seconds behind everybody else. It was a good experience. Luckily at that point my account was small. I was playing with pennies back then, so like when I was doing that, I think my best green day was like 40 cents. And and James was like, "Would you rather be red?" And I'm like, "Kinda." The fuck is this, man?
That happened to Penny and I. Remember, we both were down. We lost like 80 cents one day. I'm like, I don't know whether to be proud or not.
It's been a crazy journey. So yeah, like
That
really being into the market since I joined MTA. Before that, I was getting really lucky on a lot of shit that I thought was all me, and it was no.
Like AMC or like?
No, I did get in. I did get a piece of AMC, and then again, I didn't know what I was doing. So like, I got AMC at like 2 something, like right before the day it ran. Maybe it was closer to 5, and I got out around $15. And then I saw it kept going, so I was like, I want back in, and I fucking gave it all back.
Yeah, of course.
I caught like a move on what were some of those other meme stock names? I don't even know what it was. Yeah, it was one of those.
Naked, Cost, all
And
those.
I just happened to buy it, and the fucking thing went 100%. It halted up a few times, and I was like, this is great. I'm up 100%, and then I let it come all the way back down on me. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Sure.
That has to be the best story of someone starting the market using TD.com. Never heard that
Man,
before. That has
it
to
is
be
so
the
Robin
first.
Hood's better than TD.com.
Yeah, way better. Way better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah, it's funny.
All right.
So after that, so once you join MTA, now what do you classify yourself like? What's your biggest sort of like trading vehicle, right? You trade futures,
currently-
options, small caps.
Currently, all
Are
I
you
trade is
short?
options,
Like-
weekly options, and I really try to avoid 0 DTE. If I do play them, I play in the money. I shouldn't say that. I usually play in the money. Sometimes I break my rules. But yeah, weekly options at the moment, mostly SPY and the Qs. Sometimes I dabble elsewhere, but those have been working for me.
Cool.
Awesome. Now you said you work as a mechanic, right? So you trade options from your toolbox,
Yeah.
like in the
Yeah,
shop.
they don't like it very much. Hopefully none of them see this podcast, but yeah, no, it's brought up some issues. And then like, I had a real good run over the summer. I ended up losing all of it in a day in December, but we'll get there. Where I went like almost 200% in a month. I was just like, fuck this place. Like, I don't even care if they're mad. So I've had some issues at work because of it, but I'm pretty determined to make this work, so it'll be all right.
See, what's gonna happen is when you start really making the big bucks, they're gonna be like, "Yo, man, can you teach me how
Yeah,
to do that?"
I'm sure it will.
switches. I'm telling you. That's amazing. I can't believe that because we always talk about people that work like a 9 to 5. Like some of us work remotely. Like I work mainly remote, but other people don't have that luxury. So, like, how do you kind of time it, right? Because you're also working with your hands, so it's not like you can like watch in front of your
so
screen.
I take
or
profits
anything
very
like that.
quickly. A lot of the time I'm scalping these weeklies. My friend Jess is always preaching to me to at least hold one and let it run, but I'll enter with 10 or 20 contracts and my ass is hitting the flatten button to get out of the trade once I see 10, 15, 20%. And I'd like to, sometimes let the moves ride longer. It's just, I got to get people's cars out of the shop. So I take profits quickly, and I have a 10% stop loss. Sometimes I do remove it, but generally I have a 10% stop. So either I get stopped out or it works, and I scalp the play and take my money and walk away. So
Nice.
Awesome. Do you have any tips for people that are in a similar situation as you? Like, how do you find, let's say, an entry or an exit? Do you just use price alerts while you're like working?
no,
you just
so
have your headphones in?
I'm on the phone with James and Jess for at least the first 4 hours of the trading day every day. Generally, I'm on mute, or they just have to deal with me talking to people at work and operating tools and stuff. But a lot of times I can hear them watching certain charts or different plays and see how things are setting up.
Wait, where
so-
are they on voice these days? Is it in
Oh,
MTA?
it's an exclusive thing. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I
Invite
didn't
only
even
club.
know. I just didn't know where James was hanging out.
Yeah, no, it's just usually us three. We've built a really good friendship, and I think he knows that I need a little bit of a handicap, so he helps out.
Cool.
So you guys met within the Discord. Now
Yeah,
you're like
it's kind of
best
crazy.
internet buddies.
Yeah, for a long time, my girlfriend was like, "How do you know these people are even real?" For a while, I wasn't. Yeah.
My lady says the same thing, dude. She's like, "Wait, who are you texting right now?" Like, we were watching Temptation Island on Friday, and my buddy texted me. He's like, "Yo, you see Bitcoin?" She's like, who are you texting? I'm like, it's my friend, Barn Animal. I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter, but he texted me. He's like, yo, man, Bitcoin's crashing. Our puts are going to print. I'm like, dude, my girl's going to be pissed if she sees me talking about this stuff.
See, I've been fortunate that way. I get to, I kind of have like narrators in my ear.
You guys are running like a command
Yeah, I guess
center.
in a sense, yeah.
Now, how did that relationship build? Because people are always, especially nowadays, like, how do you develop that mentorship or make those connections? I feel like a lot of traders, they kind of struggle with that. Like, how did you?
Yeah, it just kind of grew organically. I was
in sort of
definitely
situation?
extremely annoying and persistent. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Especially like
Yep.
the eye-opening experience of downloading, Thinkorswim desktop. I had so many questions.
It's
So
hard to
I
learn.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I can't
Yeah.
use Thinkorswim. It's too much.
So yeah, it was just like nonstop questions, and then when you're talking about stocks and stuff, and you eventually the topic strays, and you get onto more personal things, and just build a relationship that way. So
Cool. I AC Texas Hammer. Yeah, he taught me how to use Thinkorswim literally because I'm like, I have some strengths with trading and I have a lot of weaknesses too, but one of my strengths is like knowing the personalities of stocks and being like, oh, this likes to, squeeze end of day, or like I just know it's like they're my friends, right? And so I know all these things. So I would tell him things I knew about stocks, and he was like, yeah. I understand that you're good at that, but like I'm not going to take you seriously until you learn how to trade on your computer. And I was like, oh, burn. Like that's... And he was like, it's ridiculous. Like, you're trying to have a podcast and you're trying to trade. No one's going to take you seriously. And I was like, all right. And then I had to do a little bit of work on the front end, but then he walked me through like I was a newborn child how to do it. And now I'm a badass at it.
yeah, and now you got your charts all colorful and pretty, and yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you have a
It's
cleaner
so
setup than
pretty.
me. You should see my charts. Like, mine are all different sizes throughout my whole screen. Someone probably walked in my room when I was like, having my setup. And like, are you okay mentally? I'm like, nah, I don't understand. Like, there's a SPY, QQQ, here's the VIX. Like, they're like,
Well,
you need serious help. I'm not very organized on my setup.
Reset up my setup for options. So, I owe both of them a lot, but like, literally, AC put in hours of work and Shark put in like 2 because I was like, yeah, I know how to like change the time frame, like whatever it was.
Are you using,
Yeah,
I can add VWAP.
are you
What color do
using
you
Active
want?
Trader for your contracts and stuff?
Yeah.
I've been using the option ladder. They added
Nice.
the Weeble. That's my new my favorite thing because you can kind of
Yep.
like pin it where you think it's gonna go. It's kind of like pin the tail of a donkey with
Yeah, I
options,
started
but, it
having
works.
the option chart up for the contracts that I'm in.
Yeah, dude, huge difference. Sometimes you can trade off just the option chart. I've been experimenting with that.
I haven't
more
done
and more.
that yet, but
It's
I
kinda
really
crazy.
like it for, like I said, I try to trade between work. So sometimes, the move starts and I haven't been able to enter yet. But if I have conviction in it, I'll still take it, but I'll take that 10% stop off and use the option chart to put my stop in a reasonable place. And that's been pretty helpful recently.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sometimes I'll have my the amount that I'm willing to risk, and sometimes that will be more than like low of day on the options chart, and I'm like, oh, there's no need for me to risk that. Like, I'll just put this at low a day, which is, I feel like, pretty cool that I like know. I mean, it does.
A
And
different depth
Ellis, what
almost
was
to
it, a month ago that I was like, I don't know how you see the option. And like 10 people reached out to me and they were like, Jesus. Like, what are we doing here?
What do you mean
You
how you
speak
see the
options
option?
now.
Elaborate.
Like, I didn't understand how, like, exactly how the common stock, underlying stock was correlated to the option. So,
Gotcha.
I would buy and sell based on the underlying, but I didn't, and then I said on the podcast, I was like, I cannot visualize what is happening with the option. And like, we released that episode, and it was like the floodgates of like, Blaine.
All the haters
like,
came out, dude.
You
All
can't
haters.
say things like that. And now I'm like, put myself at the low A on the options.
No, but you know what? There's people who have the same question that are afraid to ask it, you know, and that's
Totally.
one of the great things about the podcast.
Absolutely.
You know, is that it allows people to hear answers to questions that they're scared to ask, you know?
Well, I really appreciate you saying that.
Look at that.
You know,
Chris
I had
gets
a bad day with that because someone was a hater.
Yeah, I saw. That's why I brought it up. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but fuck that guy.
You can curse. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we're
PG-13.
No, we're R sometimes. If
right.
the person feels like
Nice.
it.
Once we start talking about gambling in
That
Vegas,
guy's such an asshole. And it's, you know, just, I've already said it. I've made my point. But, like, no one is listening to this podcast to get tips and tricks from me on my amazing trading career. Like, that, go listen to the innumerable other podcasts by amazing traders and learn how to freaking trade. I think people just listen to podcasts to feel like not alone.
Yeah.
absolutely. You
Yeah.
represent the 90%, right? And that's what makes it special. And that's what I always thought was special. And that's kind of why I came on board. I like that we represent the 90%. It is what it is. There's so many people out there. Like, it's funny, like in Sapphire, like we'll get people who's like pop in randomly and ask like a really dumb question, and like then I never see them again
Right.
because like they're almost like scared. I'm like, you act like me, Chris, all of us, we
Yeah.
were all there at some point. I'm still
Every
there. I
day.
learn new stuff
Yeah.
every single day. I'm like, whoa.
And
how
I
did
think
you
that
do
it has to give people hope. If like 1 month ago, I didn't know there was an options chart, and like now I could trade the options chart for sure. It's like a penny stock chart. Like, yeah no problem.
Yep.
So that has to give people some kind of hope, even though I don't know, my trading.
No, I love it all. I love the podcast. I love the trade transparency thing you've been doing.
Thanks.
Like when I first started trading, I thought that like, especially because I was like having such a hot streak because the market was hot. I was like, I could easily eventually be doing these like 100K days, you know, like I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's just not real. It's not realistic. It is for some, and I'm very happy for them. But it's really nice to see like a place on Twitter where like it's okay to make $200. That's great.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
How much is the average
It's like
American
I
make?
don't.
Does anyone know?
It's like a 100-ish or something. Is it? Oh,
It's
okay.
$150. I posted this because people really are like, oh, I want to make millions of dollars. Like, I know big time traders, they'll make like, let's say $300 and they're done for the day. You have to realize that's double what the American makes. And I had this conversation with one of my buddies about how trading really distorts your vision of money. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's just numbers on a screen.
Yeah, I've
like,
said that
I made
before,
$1,000 a day. Imagine someone handing you $1,000 cash. Bro, I'd be running down the street naked, like, woo! You know? But then you make $1,000 trading, it's like, it was a good day. It very much distorts the I guess like the dollar value or like the work ethic.
Well,
right?
it's so gamified.
It's weird.
You know, it's so
Now, Chris,
gamified, and it's hard to like. For me, for a while, it was hard for me to like vision it as like valuable, like something of value. I'm like, cool, my numbers are just going up. You know?
Yeah.
It's not tangible when it's just like on the screen sometimes. So. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. It's not tangible.
Yeah.
That's a very good way to put it. Now, Chris, what is your goal from trading? I don't think we ever asked a guest this. I wanted to ask, like, what's your goal? If you were to, like, a few good points for it, like,
Okay.
what would you say your goal is?
Oh, actually, that is kind of part of it. So, not necessarily feed the needy, but I grew up very privileged, and I lived a very selfish life for a very long time. So I'd really just like to be able to like pay my bills, make like a modest living, and then be able to spend my time giving it back to, you know, people in need in whatever way that shows itself at the time. Don't get me wrong, like I'd love to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but that's not the goal. I'd really like to just like be able to spend my like valuable time doing something that's important instead of like just like working my life away, and not being able to spend time with people I care about or help anybody, you know?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's very well put. No, I think that's great. I think that's a lot of people, especially
Yeah.
in the market now, they forget why they started, right? Like, Blaine, why did you start trading? Like, what was your goal? I know you want the short pumps, but like, what's the realistic, like, personal goal?
I wanted to be able to take care of my family and not feel stressed all the time about money. That's really
Just give them the life that you
well. The
envisioned, pretty
real
much.
reason I
That's it?
started is because I wanted to take my kids to Disney World, and we hadn't gotten there yet. But
It's only a matter of time.
I've lost more than a Disney trip.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I just want to do things. I don't want to live like paycheck to paycheck and worry. Like, I recently just got a tax bill 2 weeks ago for $3,500 that was really unexpected. And I had to pay the bill. And I mean, I like was very, very worried about money for the rest of until my next paycheck came. And I don't want to live it coincided with all this stress I'm under with trading, but I don't want to live like that.
Yep.
Like, that's not a massive bill, and I don't want to live for 2 weeks. Like, I couldn't get groceries.
Yeah.
Like, and I also didn't take any money out of my trading account. Like, I should and could have, but I just want to one day just shop at freaking Whole Foods and buy like exactly what I want to buy, and just be like, I put it on a credit card and not be concerned about paying that credit card off.
Yep. See, that's
Tear up.
man, that's
Wow.
what this podcast is about, right there.
No, it's seriously important because there's a lot of people right now who like, why did I start this, right? And you both give great answers. It's really about like, hey, like, you know, if I get a crazy tax bill or I want to just spend my time helping people out. I don't want a Lambo. I just want to, you know, I want to trade for 6 hours and then at the end of the day, you know, still
Exactly.
volunteer and help people who need it. And kind of almost have that, because I feel like when you work, you kind of lose.
Yeah,
like,
I'd say
part of
at
yourself.
least a little part.
I would
Yeah,
say.
if not
Yeah.
not a large
Yeah,
part.
yeah. I mean, especially you, right? You work in a shop all day with probably a bunch of. I know mechanics, my family mechanics, some
Yeah, there's
miserable
quite a
ass
few.
dudes in
Yeah,
those
yeah.
shops,
Yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
Maybe not yours, but just, you know, especially, and I'm an accountant. I work with people who have like, you know, not
Yeah.
the most social skills in the world. So, you know, sometimes it's
Yep.
nice that you don't really have to
You know,
worry about it. So, I started because I wanted to retire
Yeah.
my mom.
You know,
So I
my
started
like
trading.
ultimate
all I wanted to do.
dream of when I know I've made it. This is my manifesting dream. You know, you have to dream your ultimate thing.
Yeah.
Is like, my kids and I really love Canada. To be able to just like take my kids to Canada for August and just rent a house and like freaking live. You know,
Go see the falls. Go
just-
drink maple
we
syrup.
love
I don't know.
Canada. We love everything about Canada. We're Canada people. And
You live in Atlanta. How do you want to
Not
go to Canada? You know how
for
cold it is up there?
winter,
Do you even
just-
own a winter
just like
jacket?
summer.
No, she said August. She said August,
It's
man.
still
I said
cold.
August. It's
Yeah.
not. Mm-mm.
It's probably
Listen, you-
it definitely.
you still
I
got
don't
time
know.
till
It's
this
cold
August.
here
You're
all
gonna
the
be
time.
just fine.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the best of the best on your back, Karen. They're gonna
Yeah.
carry
Yeah,
you
you
to
get
the
this like
Lambo
rare
town.
opportunity to like steal all the good bits of all these great traders, you know?
Yeah. It's overwhelming, though.
Yeah, I bet.
It's overwhelming
Oh, for sure.
because there's these people who I respect so much who give me advice, and I have to decide which part of that advice to take and make me stronger and which part not to take. And that's hard. It's like being a superhero, right? And only taking on things that make you stronger and knowing what those things are and what won't make you stronger. And then I've watched those decisions not be correct, right? Like
Yeah.
I told you just before we started recording that I going forward, I'm going to trade a lot more with Real Simple Ariel.
Uh-huh.
And if you listen to the first podcast I did with him, like, I think it's very obvious how much in awe I was of him. And that was 4 months ago. And, you know, I could have been trading with Ariel for 4 months, but wanted to do it. I am stubborn and wanted to do it a different way and wanted to take pieces of everyone and come up with my own unique style of trading. And now it's so humbling to be like, all of these people have offered to help me, and I haven't known what to do with all the help. I mean, it's yeah.
You weren't
Well,
ready.
and also it's like something that was like really crucial for me to like find my way back from the big loss I took in December was like I had to stop trying to trade like anybody else, because I would try to like force myself to emulate somebody else's behavior or trading style, and I'm not. Everybody sees this shit differently.
Yeah.
We could both be looking at the same chart and have a totally different thesis.
Totally.
You know? So me trying to emulate anybody else's trading style is going to be the same thing. I'm not going to see certain things play out the way they are.
Yeah.
So it was really important to like size down, find exactly where I like to enter trades, what I'm looking for in a trade, and just know that, you know, taking profits for me quickly is the way to go. I had too many trades that I was green on just tank on me. And just finding my own way through it and navigating it, and then, you know, bouncing my new ideas off people and getting some feedback on how they might tweak it, was better than ever trying to trade like somebody else for me.
Yeah. It's such you know, we recently, Ellis and I had Bofo on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's in Real Ones.
Uh-huh.
And he and I really connected on that podcast.
I thought you guys were gonna fall in love together, honestly. Yo, this dude is the coolest dude. I swear to God, he's literally just like you. You and him would be
you
boys.
remind me
I'm
of
telling
him.
you.
But we
awesome.
just like really hit
Yep.
it off on the podcast, and then actually Ellis this morning he just called me because he was like, "I know you're struggling." We talked for 3 hours. Just, I mean, we're like in the exact same place, and there. Why did I think that edge between emulating someone and doing it on your own it's a small edge. And I've said on here a lot of times that like my best trading days are when I don't look at Twitter, don't look at Discord, just like me and the charts are like doing it. But then, you know, right this second, I'm in a place where I feel like I've failed. So then it does become more of a like, I need some actual real help. And he and I just shared so much of the struggles of like, you know, one day I'm thinking I've got to do this all on my own and this is the way to do it, and then the next day I'm like, I got to do it this way and I got to do it this way, and that is really, I think, where a lot of the inconsistency comes from as well.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Alice, I sort of cut you off when I wanted to gush about Bofo.
You're fine. That's your new mans. That's your Twitter mans right there. Him and Ariel are probably we're gonna have a dating show. Well, trading show because you're married, but yeah.
We have we're texting now. I mean, we're gonna be real life friends.
Oh,
toot sweet.
I would always wonder, like, you're probably on the phone, like, texting your trading buddies. Your family, like, who are you talking to?
So, Friday, when I had that massive loss, I was revenge trading at the end of the day because I had my 100% gainer, and I was so proud of myself.
Yeah, by the way, congratulations on that.
No, you gotta curse.
You.
You gotta be like, you gotta scream at the top of your lungs.
Fuck
yeah!
Was so proud of myself for that. And I found it on my own. It was on AMD, which is not a ticker that I like to trade. But I was like, if you don't take this trade, like that it was a screaming at me trade. Like, this is the puts place. Like, it could not break over the 2. I knew it was the right trade, and I took the trade, and it was just me in the charts, and I got my 100%, and I was like, this is the best. And then over traded SPY, took a call, gave some money back, and then just spiraled like so hard. And after I did that last revenge trade on SPY and like hit my daily loss and couldn't trade anymore, my husband was home working, and I just got up and went outside and called Shark on his cell phone, and he answered, and I was like sobbing, and I was like, I just can't, I can't do it. And my husband came out and was like, who are you talking to? I was like, don't worry about it. Someone that you're close enough that you just want to go in a full tilt cry. And I was like, yeah. Yeah.
I've done that with my buddies, my training buddies. I remember, I'm not going to name names, but he gave me a call. He's like, hey, man, I just got my ass kicked. I'm like, yeah, me too. He's like, what do you want to do about it? I'm like, I don't know. Go golf?
No, I'm way more emotional
tomorrow,
than that
right?
when it comes to losses, man. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, let's talk about your comeback story. I heard you had like the one of the top 10 comeback stories ever, right? Is that we're going to claim
Listen,
it? We'll go top 3 because I like
it.
it. Right?
So my account was a little over 30K in the beginning of December. I wasn't very experienced over PDT, and I didn't really have any like set rules that I was following.
Okay, like risk management, like
sizing,
size,
risk
like,
management,
all in, slap
that.
it.
So I'd been trading options. That wasn't really the problem. The problem was my sizing, and I was not good at managing the impulse of being able to take as many trades as I wanted. So,
So you're going crazy. You're like, oh, there's a play. There's a play. There's another one. There's another
I get a
one.
week off of my actual job between Christmas and New Year's, the whole week. So I'm like, cool. I'm over PDT. I'm gonna trade the whole fucking week. I'm gonna make so much fucking money that I don't even have to go back to work.
Yeah.
And you know, like the day I lost like $11,000 in a day. I honestly, like, looking back at it, I couldn't even tell you how it happened. Like, once I like looked at the P&L, I was like, how did this even happen today?
Did you vomit?
Oh my god, I was so sick. I didn't actually.
I vomited on Monday.
Like, I was not okay.
Yeah.
Describe the feeling in your chest, because we've all been there.
So
like, how
it
would
wasn't
you
even
explain
like
to someone that's never experienced?
I don't even know if I can describe it, man. It was also hard because, like I mentioned, I like come from like a very privileged childhood. So like I have like a little bit more of like a tolerance for like losing money than I'd say some people do, but especially my girlfriend. So like I had to like not tell her that I like lost all this money.
Oh god.
It was pretty terrifying. I really wanted to quit. I really just wanted to take my money out and say fuck it, and just throw in the towel. And then I just started looking at it like I like to like joke around a lot, and make light of situations that are a little bit more serious than I like to make them out to be. Yeah, so I was like, well,
you're a guy. It's what we do, you know.
I
got
like,
11K. It's a Honda, bro. Whatever.
Figure loss out of the way. We'll just move on from here. Unfortunately, I didn't just move on from there. So I brought the account. I started January with just over 18,000. But the only thing in my mind every day I would take a trade was I need to make that money back. That was like the only thing I could think of was like I need to get that money back, which is terrible because I was oversizing still. I was staying in losing trades way too long, hoping that they would turn around because I had too much size. So I ended up going down like another, let's see, January 20th, my account was down to 13,500. So I was down like a little over 50% from the beginning of December. So I took like a few days off. I think I reached out to you, Blaine, and I was like, did you taking your break help? And you were like, no. And I was like, awesome, I'm going to try it.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Let's go.
And I really didn't. I took like 2 days away from the screen because I'm like way too obsessive about this shit.
Sure.
And
Today
even
was
still,
hard.
I was like, I'm taking a break, but it was like Friday, and I was like, SPX is going to tank here. I'm going to take a lotto. So I didn't really, I was still like dabbling. But I came back that next week, January 20th. I've been green ever since, and I'm up 54% for the month. Well, over the last month.
Congratulations.
So
that's amazing.
Let's go. Now,
So
how did you do it, right? I mean, it's probably
like I said,
easier
I got
question.
some like rules I follow now. I use trigger orders in active traders. So when I click buy, my stop is automatically put on the screen. So I have to like consciously remove my stop loss, which is a little bit harder than like being like, oh, I should have gotten out there, but let me give it a little more room.
Yeah.
So that's like built into
It's
your system,
automatically
right?
there.
10%.
And like I will say that I'm not perfect. If I have like conviction that it's still gonna do what I think it's gonna do, and if the chart's telling me like this is gonna be okay, I will move the stop around a little bit. I really try not to add to losing positions. I almost
So no averaging down.
really fucked up on Friday. Thought the Qs were gonna go short again. Right when I entered the trade, I don't know if you guys were watching.
Like
around
1:45 in the afternoon when
Yep.
it just. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Short squeeze
Dude,
afternoon on OPEX.
So I had
Yeah.
like just loaded puts, and this fucking thing is just straight up.
It's been weak all day. All day. I was so certain that was going to be just like a pop up to the 20, hard reject,
and that's exactly
come
what
back
I thought.
down.
So I added more. So I added
It's
more.
OPEX. Come
Like
on.
right when it popped, and I was like, "This thing's not fucking stopping." I was like, "New high a day, awesome." So like I call Jess and James, and I'm like, I'm fucked. I was like, I'm fucked. I'm like this. I'm down like 85% on this trade. I don't have available funds. I can't really average down anymore. I was like, I'm about to get railed, and so my average was 130. These contracts were down to 25, and I was like, I had like 60 of them or something stupid like that. I had a lot.
Holy
Yeah, I had a lot.
shit.
And of course,
yeah,
they expire in
not,
like
so I
2
bought
hours,
them.
right?
They were in the money when I bought them. Now they're like $2 out of the money, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to like redo this whole 50% thing again, because like I'm about to get fucked. These contracts went from all the way down from like 25ish where they were at, and I was able to get out at 137. They went to 150. So I was able to get out for a profit, and I was like, I'm never disrespecting my stop loss again. I feel like I was like given one more blessing, and that's it. Oh my god, it's terrifying.
Did you see Stock Jesus walk across
Dude,
the parking lot
It
saying,
was
"Bless
so
you, son"?
terrifying.
Good
I was
job."
like shaking. It was so bad.
Did
So bad.
James like walk you through that, or
Yes, he was like, because I had a stop in. I was like, I don't even know why I put a stop at that fucking point, but I put a stop at like 20 cents or whatever. I was like, that's just gonna be it, and I would have lost like, man, like almost 6K. And he was just like, take your stop out, and I was like, all right. He was like, it's got to reject here, but take your stop out, and I was like, okay. I took my stop out, and it tapped my stop and never came back to it. It just went down after that, and I was like, oh my god, I'd be so sick if I got stopped out there. And
Oh, dude, and you would probably
it
revenge
would've been
trade it
terrible.
tomorrow. And
But
it
yeah, I
would've
mean,
been a whole
he was
downward
able
spiral.
to keep me calm in the trade. So was Jess. She was like, she's a great trader. She's underrated, and she doesn't really like put herself out there, so nobody knows about her. But Jess is second. She's a great trader. But they were keeping me calm through the trade and reassuring me that I did have the right idea. I just disrespected my rules and really took a shit entry.
yeah, I took that. I took calls on that reversal.
Good job.
And then, yes, I'm really good at entries. It was like the fucking bot. It was so good. And then, but then I took puts at the 50, I guess, and then it went down to the 20, bull flagged, went back up and ripped over the 50, and then so I lost my whole trade. But
it was definitely and you know what the problem was is that I was really upset with myself, not because of the trade, because I did like my entry, I just didn't respect my rules. Um, but I was really upset because it was all greed. I was already up like a little over $400 for the day, which is plenty more than I'm usually. Yeah, it's
totally.
usually way
That's
more than I'm
great
okay
Friday.
with. But
Yeah.
what happened was I came back to the computer and I'm like, I'm gonna take a little scalp here. So I scalped the cues, and I made like $50 on it. I took a few contracts for a little bit of money, and I was like, it's not enough. And then I took another 20, and then it just took off on me. And I was like, why did you do that, dude? You were up. Like what?
Yeah. That's
What is
what
your problem, man?
I mean, same thing. I had my 100% trade. I made $400.
Yeah,
Ended the
should've, man.
day
Could've just walked away.
down 400.
see, man,
That's the hardest thing,
Yeah.
even for me, walking away sometimes. Like when you're green, like there's been so many days where I've been like nice and brightly green,
Yeah.
and I just chop myself up to be red. I'm like,
Yeah.
see,
What
yeah,
the
and
fuck
usually
am I doing?
like you know the problem, and I have to get okay with this. The problem was that where my stop was would have put me red on the day, and I was like, oh man, but I have this great green streak. Like I can't be red, which
Yeah.
is just a terrible way to think because I almost wiped out all of it. So yeah, I'm far from perfect, you know. But it was definitely a reality check. I'm grateful that I was able to, you know, get out even though I broke my rules. But that won't be happening again. So
that was my next question. What are you gonna do
I'm
this
gonna bring
week
my
differently?
sizing back down.
Okay. Yeah, tomorrow we're recording this the day Russia invaded.
Yeah,
So tomorrow we'll probably
I was
wake up the
watching
Dow down
futures
about
right
1,000
before we
points.
hopped on this, and I was like, it's gonna be fucking
Yeah.
bloody.
I'm very heavily short right now, so hopefully
Yeah.
it goes well. But that's the thing, right? When it's super red like this, like people see on the media, it's like, oh, Russia's
Yeah,
invading.
and it
buy
could
I
just
puts,
think
rip
we're
it
gonna
open.
rip right off
I think
open.
we're
It's
up.
just gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take it really slow this week. Yeah, I try not to trade the open. Sometimes I do. Usually I wait until like at least the second. I usually trade on a 15-minute time frame.
Mhm.
Usually I wait till the second 15 starts, or I can start to identify a trend.
Yeah.
So
So you like the bigger picture trades?
yeah, I do because
higher
I've
time
noticed
frames,
that
higher conviction?
when you get the trend break or you get you know, the pattern break on a larger time frame, the move seems to be a little bit more significant. So since
Yep.
I can only take trades in between working, I try to catch the trades that are going to give me the biggest move in the short amount of time.
Yeah.
So like when I can sit there and watch it, I like trading the two, and I'll just scalp up and down on those all day. But that doesn't happen very often. So yeah, bigger time frame for me for sure.
Cool.
What kind of system do you use? Like, how would you describe system? Like, do you
I don't use
indicator wise? I
indicators.
guess. Or-
I have.
Oh, you're a
I have,
naked
it's
guy.
funny. I have. Back in like when I first joined MTA, I think Brad posted like his what did he call it? I don't know. It's Mullen's superset or something like that, and it's like all the EMAs and stuff, and they're on my screen, but I don't know what any of the lines are. I don't know what any of the colors mean. I don't know what I'm looking at. I use VWAP because Spy likes to bounce there and hold there
Okay.
and reject there, and sometimes I'll use
Yep.
that for entries with a stop just above it. But I don't put too much weight on them, to be honest.
Do you want me to tell you what Brad's indicators are since you have me?
No, it's
And
okay.
it's been a while.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
Nah, he's doing well. He's up 50%. No.
It's funny
You
though, because
just got the lines. Like,
sometimes I'll look at it and I'll be like, I'm gonna just take it on this line rejection. Don't know what line it is, but you know, it's
are your
Sometimes
been
Russia's
rejected,
lines,
man.
hey.
blue, green, yellow, and white?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're on there. I have no idea which one's which. I've
right.
looked at it before.
I love how
but it's
chill
a
you
lot
are,
for me to remember. You know.
Sure.
Hey, my man's a hustler, man. He's hitting Spy Scouts for a couple hundred, and then
Yeah.
go put tires
Yeah,
on
you
it,
don't need
change
to
an
know what
engine.
those
Come on.
colors are. Oh, that kills me.
Man.
So do you, this has been amazing, and we've talked for an hour. We could go a little longer if you wanted to talk about your past at all. That's totally up to you. Totally.
Oh yeah, I'm good with it. Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So before you got into trading,
Yeah.
did you have any hardships in your life?
I like how you like led into that, even though we already discussed it. Yeah.
But we discussed it pre-podcast, so
That's true. That's true.
you gotta bring it back for the people.
Yeah. Big old heroin junkie back in the day.
Oh, heroin. Heroin.
Thanks, man.
Really? And you're this handsome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have good genetics, fortunately. Yeah, no, I had heroin, IV drug use, the whole nine, overdoses, all that crap.
Did it start with opiate, like pills that then led into heroin?
Yeah,
or?
but it wasn't like. Yeah, but I'd like been doing. I mean, I started. I went to rehab for the first time when I was 16. My parents like ripped me out of school and sent me to a wilderness program in Utah, and I like lived in the desert for a few months. Yeah, looking
you went
back
to a
on it,
wilderness
it's really
camp?
cool. Like I'd sign up for some shit like that
Yeah.
now, but when you're a kid, it's not fun.
No, it's not cool because you miss all the fun
straight
stuff
from
that's
there
going
to a
on.
place in upstate New York. I was there 9 months, so I was gone for like a year of high school. Came back, same old shit. Rehab again when I was 18. Rehab again when I was 22. Rehab again when I was 26. No, 28, something like that.
All for heroin.
Coke, heroin, Xanax. Yeah, but more recently heroin. Well, I shouldn't say recently. It's been years now. But the last time, yeah, a place out in Georgia was the last place I went to. Yeah, old Dahlonega, Georgia.
That's weird. That's a weird place.
Yeah, it's a very weird place. Apparently, they have a lot of like believers
Gold?
of Sasquatch out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's
also
a big
gold.
thing.
Did you do any gold panning while you were up there?
No, I was in rehab. They hardly let you leave.
They don't let you pan for gold in the local river.
No,
No,
I
they're
used
really
to
bad for
go on the
gold.
trips to get like manicures and pedicures just to get out of the fucking place.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
live in Georgia.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've been to Dahlonega a lot of times.
it's a
They have
weird place.
beautiful falls there. Like waterfalls.
Yeah, no, I knew what you meant. But yeah, no,
It's a weird spot.
it's very strange. But yeah, funny enough, the guy that owned it, I got to meet him. Old school Wall Street trader, and just made a
interesting.
fuck ton of money and bought a rehab. Nice guy. But yeah, I mean, I was homeless. I was living in my car in Florida for a while. Working a full-time job, but just like wanted to spend
Holy
my money
shit.
on heroin instead. So I like was working at a car dealership. I was making like $800 or $900 a week, and I would just spend it all on heroin and sleep in my car and then shower at the shop. Not great life choices. Yeah, it was wild,
shit.
man.
No.
So
Now, how long have you
May
been
will
clean
be 4 years. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Congratulations. You've
I
come a
appreciate it.
long way, man. That's 10, 15 years of
it was wild,
running
man.
through the struggle.
And
but-
you
So what changed for you? Like, what was like the big moment where you're like,
You know?
all right, man, enough's enough? Because a lot of people are going through it, especially with
it's
COVID.
weird, man.
so-
I had a really great therapist who asked me these like two simple questions that I had never thought about and I couldn't answer. And it was, what gives you fulfillment, and like, what do you find purpose in? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, then why the fuck do you keep trying to get sober? And I was like, I don't know, because I just get sober and then I'm like, now what?
What are those answers?
You
Yeah.
know, like, so now I'm not on drugs, but life's still not that great. So yeah, once I was able to like kind of figure that out, I was like, man, there's nothing for me there, and I just never looked back. But it wasn't easy up until then,
That's
I
awesome.
was
all
in
right?
that.
So when you face,
No, of course,
I mean,
it's
you
never easy.
owe this therapist a Rolex,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah. I guess
just
that's the least I
anonymous
can do for him.
Rolex.
I guess that's the least I could do for him. Yeah. So when we get there,
Yeah.
hey Jason, wherever you are, if you're listening to this, man, I got you a Rolex, bro.
AP bust down too with the rapper watch,
Oh,
right?
man.
Well, yeah.
So what are the answers to those two questions? Before
Oh yeah, no, I don't care.
If you feel comfortable answering them.
Man, what gives me fulfillment, man, is spending time with people I love, and being able to give back to people who didn't have the same upbringing that I had. I think that if people who were struggling were given the childhood that I had, they would have done a lot more with it than I had done. So I want to be able to, help and give back to communities and people who are less fortunate than I was, and be able to show them that there are things worth striving for and there are ways to get out of that shit. Because I put myself through those struggles, so I know there's ways out of tough times, and I feel like I could, benefit people and shed some light on some situations that might be able to help people.
Cool.
Now, second follow.
No,
Are you friends with Carrie?
I'm not.
Or Palmer? We call him
Oh,
Palmer.
we gotta make that
I really
happen.
I really like him. From what I see of him, right? Like I've never spoken to him. I really like his episode on here.
Yeah, you got to reach out to him. He's very much like you. I think people that come from that kind of background make great traders because you lived in your fucking car. Like what's,
It's also kind of like detrimental though, because I'm like, I can go broke. Like,
no.
I can be okay,
Yeah.
That's your sense of humor. It's like, hey man, I can live in my car again. It's like nothing.
I have a girlfriend and a mortgage, 2 dogs. They need me more than anything. So.
How are you and
There
your
you go.
parents?
Oh, we're great.
Great.
Yeah. We weren't great, but we're great. They cut me off. I had this grand idea that I was gonna leave this detox I was at and just sell heroin, and that was gonna be my gig.
Yeah.
And then they just cut me off, and it didn't work out well. So we're good.
Did you ever go to jail?
No. No.
Okay.
No?
2 DUIs, 1 expunged. So like no more than a night. I spent like 1 night in jail, which I don't count that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
That's an overnight vacation.
Did you listen to Ariel's episode on here?
I have not, but I need to.
So he was in jail for a long time for distributing weed.
Okay. Long time.
Really?
Yeah.
For weed?
It was like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Fed time too. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
from the
that
middle
makes
of nowhere, so I think it's a little stricter out
he,
there, right?
and it's so funny because that's legal now,
Yeah.
right? He was a good businessman, but
He was just ahead of the curve, really, is all
Yeah.
it was.
yeah. Oh, Ariel. Anyway, got a lot of respect for him bringing it back to all the success he's had after that, and you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I expect to see 1,000% on year to date on TOS at the end of
I
this.
sure hope so. I'm just
the end of
trying to
this year.
keep this ball rolling, man.
Yeah.
We have the momentum. The ball's in your court, right? So once you start getting green like a couple of days in a row, it just kind of builds, and you kind of get almost that confidence. And sometimes that confidence can be very good.
like I
Sometimes
said.
it can be very bad. But
Yeah.
I really do appreciate you sharing your story. A lot of people out there struggling who don't want to speak up, and it's always nice to hear someone else
man.
spend the same shoes
Anyone
as
can
you.
reach out anytime. I'm an open book, and I'm always here to help.
Just teach them options. It's like the same
Man.
thing. Might be a little more addicting.
I don't know that I want to teach
Just
very
kidding.
many people options. To be honest, that shit's detrimental to your mental health.
That makes my post about hitting my rock bottom on Friday seem vanilla.
No,
Right.
it's all relative. It's all relative,
Yeah.
So-
I took the last $25,000 I had to my name and gambled more than half of it away. Feels like rock bottomy, but
I get it.
No. You didn't gamble it away. It's called tuition, right?
Man, I
It's like
hate
if you
that.
went to college.
I hate that
It's the
shit. I
same
hate
thing.
that
No,
tuition
I'm
shit.
like-
And I use that term, and I fucking hate it. Yeah, it's true.
Everyone's
I
paid
think you're
tuition
gonna
at
be
some
just
point.
fine, Blaine. I think that your new strategy that you're rolling into is going to be great. I think trading Apple options is going to be really like way more relaxed for you.
Mm-hmm.
They move really well, and I think you're going to
Absolutely.
be able to find some comfort sitting through some moves and letting a play out, and just get your sizing to a place you're comfortable with until you get the consistency. That's everything, you know.
Now, do you guys ski?
No, I used to snowboard, but it's been couldn't tell you how many years.
Everyone I know
All
does.
right.
Terrified
Well,
of
this
terrified.
skiing?
analogy is not. It's not
Yeah.
going to ring true to you, I guess. But Ellis, there are different ways to grade ski runs. There's greens, which are for the beginners. There's blues, intermediate, black, advanced, double black, triple black. So I've been skiing my whole life, and I love nothing more than getting on a groomed blue run, getting a little speed, and
Yep.
just like that is my happy place. I'm not trying to go on a black. I'm trying to just get in a flow, right, and cruise. And I feel like if I could get there with options, if I could just get on a good blue run that I knew well and just cruise, I'd be real freaking happy.
Yeah,
But-
I think you'll find some success with Apple. It's a really nice ticker to trade, in my opinion.
Cool. We're in a downtrend now. So,
Once you get
you
the
know,
momentum going.
I'm a puts trader
Yeah,
now.
short everything tomorrow. Everything. Russia, the Russian
Just
Amazon,
long
short it all,
oil,
dude.
short
Just kidding.
everything
It's all-
else.
Everything. Yeah, if you're buying calls tomorrow, the day after Russia invades, that's probably, I don't know when this episode's going to be released.
They did invade, right? They
Watch
did.
us open green tomorrow. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're going to release a press conference in 30 minutes, and they're going to be like, hey, just kidding, and then futures are going to rip, and then at like 3 a.m. they'll be like, oh yeah, we dropped the
Man,
nuke.
I'm loving
accidentally."
the
It's like,
volatility,
here
though.
we go again.
Do you guys think Putin's making money off
Yeah.
of this wish-washing? Like, I mean, like, do you think...
I don't know.
What's Russia's
I don't know if
largest
they're
export?
making money on it, but I will say he's having a good old fucking time doing whatever he's doing.
If he's not shorting the American market and then releasing press releases like that, he's got to be.
He has 20 monitors in his desk right now. He's like, oh yeah, puts on that. What am I going to buy? Roblox, dude? Yeah, my kids hate that game. It's made by an American company. Buy puts on that or anything else. Oh, natural gas? Okay, we're going to long those futures,
mean-
you know. It's crazy. I actually have that theory too. And I also think, you guys follow FX Hedgers on Twitter? Anyone know what I'm talking about? I think they're run by Russia. I don't know. I have this crazy conspiracy.
I like
Should
it.
we
I
ask
like
him on the
conspiracy
pod and
theory.
check their accent?
There you go.
It's well, do they only follow Zero Hedge, which is confirmed that they were like supporting Russia or whatever, and then like they get like they only tweet about Russia war. It's like weird. I don't know. Something seems really fishy. It's not my
Oh,
boy Walter, so I
Rumi?
don't trust him.
That man's always yelling, man. That man's always
Yeah.
serious.
He's now dating Kim Kardashian apparently.
No, isn't
according to
Kim's dating Pete Davis?
Twitter.
She's
Well,
definitely
I don't know.
dating Pete
That's what I saw on
Davis
Twitter
because
today,
Kanye's
so-
in a war with Pete Davis because he's dating his wife.
I don't understand how that man is dating her.
I just got a notification. Putin officially orders troops through Ukraine. Like, I'm a little bit late on that.
All right,
Madness.
guys.
But I'll let you
This
guys go.
has
Sorry,
been
I'm
a
rambling.
great way to end my President's Day and a nice little ramp back up into next week when it's my rebuilding year. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Chris has me all jazzed up right
Yeah.
now. I'm ready
Yeah.
to go, dude.
You gonna go short some Bitcoin after this, Alice? Just to...
I'm already. I have so many Mara puts that I'm probably gonna watch Bitcoin futures next to my Dow
Cool.
puts.
Cool.
while I
I'm
sleep
gonna
tonight,
do my
so.
manifesting, and you watch your Mara puts, and
Well, first I'm gonna order tacos.
Taco Monday.
Gotta celebrate Ben Franklin or whatever, Washington, whatever President's
Jeez.
Day is.
All right, guys.
Hey,
Don't give me that
thank you
look,
so much
Chris.
for having me.
Thank you. It wasn't that bad, was it?
No, not at all. I don't know what I was nervous about. I don't know if this is going to help anybody, but I had a good time.
Everyone's gonna enjoy it though.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
All right. Hi guys, I have some great news for you. We have a new discount code for Last Bottle Wines. So if you've already used the product, sampled their delicious wines, know how amazing their prices are and their customer service, and you would like to place a new order with 10% off, you can use the code PENNY10 from now until May 1st. That's PENNY 10, the numbers. Anyway, you know how much we love Last Bottle Wines, and we're so happy to be partnered with them. Use the code, support the pod. We love you guys.
By accessing this podcast, you acknowledge that the Penny Lane podcast makes no warranty, guarantee, or representation as to the accuracy or sufficiency of the information featured in this podcast. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. This podcast should not be considered professional or financial advice. Unless specifically stated otherwise, the Penny Lane podcast does not endorse, approve, recommend, or certify any information, product, process, service, or organization presented or mentioned in this podcast, and information from this podcast should not be referenced in any way to imply such approval or endorsement. The third-party materials or content of any third-party site referenced in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions, standards, or policies of the Penny Lane podcast. The Penny Lane podcast assumes no responsibility or liability for the accuracy or completeness of the content contained in third-party materials or on third-party sites referenced in this podcast, or the compliance with applicable laws of such materials and or links referenced herein.